Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dreadcast. This is episode 29, and I'm your host, Dread With me, as always, the QueenBrie. How's it going, Brie?
Hey, how's it going?
It is going.
Oh, that's good.
We're hearing each other loud and clear. We are good to go.
There's no audio issues.
Okay. As long as we got recording out of the way, we're set.
Yes, we're set.
And joining us tonight is a good friend of mine and gamer slash mother, Valandrah. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. How are you doing?
Not too bad. I've always wondered how to say your name. It's just such a different sounding name.
Yeah, Valandrah. Lots of
Okay.
people just call me Val.
Val, yeah. I figured that was a good short form. So how's everybody's day going? Busy?
It's not so much the day, I think it's been the week. And I think I say that every week. This week was bananas.
Just wait till next week when you're a week closer to going on vacation.
I'm actually like 5 days away from going on vacation. Actually 4 at this point.
See, you'll be super busy this week.
So like 3 days and a wake up.
I work 2 days next week and I'm out. I am out like shout yo.
Lucky. We were out yesterday, and my wife wanted to buy a lottery ticket, and it's something we don't normally do, like, ever. And so I bought a lottery ticket. I spent like $5 buying a lottery ticket, even though I don't like wasting my money on lottery tickets. And,
Did you win big?
No, it's not big. It's not big up here in Canada. You guys have it so lucky in the States that you guys get such big payouts. Here it was a measly 15 million.
Measly. Shoot, I'd retire on that.
Yeah, I know, but it's a lot for us. But don't you guys have like hundreds, a million when you guys have your big Powerball or whatever it's called?
It's hit like 600 million, if not more, at one point.
We've only got 15 million. That's why I said measly.
I'll give it a while. Maybe someone will not win for a while, and then you'll hit those numbers.
So we bought a ticket anyways, and we were on our way home. And my wife's trying to explain to my kids, about lottery tickets and all that. And she's like, oh, the first place I'd go is Hawaii. She's always dreamed of going to Hawaii. And my kids start asking about Hawaii and stuff. And I'm like, oh, well, I heard there's like there's no, because I'm like, oh, there's probably mosquitoes there. She's like, oh, there's no bugs, just big cockroaches. And
oh,
yeah,
I'm not looking
forward to. And I'm like, oh, there's got to be sharks there. And yeah, so she's like, "Where would you go?" I was like, "Oh, I'd probably go to visit Scotland. It's probably the first place I'd go with money."
Oh yeah.
That's like the rolling hills and the kind of old ruins and castles. And she's like, "Well, it rains all the time." I'm like, "Yeah, so."
I mean, it's no different than the Pacific Northwest where I'm at, so you might as well.
I went to San Diego for 4 days. It rained the whole 4 days I was there.
Was that for TwitchCon? Or was that just like randomly?
No, it was for another convention back when I was in college.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I got to see big cockroaches when I went to Mozambique, though.
Yeah, no, thank you. I don't do bugs at all. I scream like I'll be washing my hair in the shower and there's like a daddy long leg sitting up on the ceiling. I flip a bitch. Nope, not happening. See you later. I'm out.
I'm okay with like pretty much 80% of any other bug except for cockroaches. I'm like, ugh.
I will call my ex and be like, get your ass over here, come kill the spider. Like, this is not happening for me. I haven't had to deal with cockroaches though, knock on wood.
Yeah, I haven't seen one in a long time either, so I'm happy.
Shh, don't jinx me. Don't.
Are you showering later? Maybe we'll pray for you.
Washing my hair in the sink.
Oh.
Summer months, use the hose.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Val, and maybe your gaming history, maybe stuff like that?
So when I was a kid, obviously Nintendo, my parents' best friends' kids had a Nintendo, so I grew up playing that. And then when the Super Nintendo came out, my uncle, speaking of the lottery, won the lottery. And one of the things he did for me and my sister was to get us a Super Nintendo. And so I played a whole lot of Mario Kart.
Nice.
My go-to. And then like Yoshi's World and stuff like that. And then I didn't really do any gaming at all ever until then I got into college, and I went to a Christian college, so the dorms were separate, male and female. So the guys were all gaming, but internet and stuff like that was new, so nobody was playing together if I was playing in my room. So I really didn't start gaming again until I started dating my husband. And I didn't want to be that girlfriend that told him he couldn't game, which was something he loved to do. So for a while I just sat and watched him, and then eventually him and his buddies would talk about playing World of Warcraft. And so I started playing that with him, and now it's expanded to we have 4 gaming computers in our house, and they have to have their own separate room because they could heat the whole house on their own. So now us and the kids game together.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
So,
what other games do you play?
Borderlands is my favorite.
Yes.
Yeah. I have not. We didn't have the money yet to buy the pre-sequel, so we got. We had bought the kids. My son, Borderlands 2. So we've been playing through that with him, and then I've really been getting into puzzle games.
Mm-hmm.
Oh crap! Why does the name of it? I cannot think of it. I saw it at. We go to PAX East every year, and we like to look at the
indie games.
Yeah, the indie games, and so there was one that we were looking at. Head Snatchers, which we've looked at a couple years in a row. And so I turned around while we were just watching more Head Snatchers, and I saw this game on the TV, and I'm like watching it, and I'm like, that's actually really kind of cool. And I'm trying to search for it, but I cannot find it. Oh, Iris Fall.
Nice.
So Head Snatchers is not the game that your face is in?
Yes.
I thought I'd seen that a while ago.
That's right. Yeah, I won a contest, and so my head got chosen to be in the game. I designed it. It was goofy looking.
That's cool.
It's perfect for the game. So, yeah, that's a good game night game. Because you run around and you snatch each other's heads, and then you have to bowl with them, shoot them into soccer goals, like basketball.
With other people's heads.
With other people's heads. So it's like, and then best 2 out of 3 wins or whatever. So that one's fun to play with a lot of people.
It's like a horror version of Mario Party, but using other people's heads.
Yes.
Creepy.
It's so simple, but so amazing.
Sounds creepy in a way.
It is. Well, except they're cartoons.
Lighthearted, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not like they don't look like people at all.
It's not like you're cruising through Outlast 2 or something. You're getting the shit
right.
scared out of you. Okay, gotcha.
No. It's almost 2D pixel. I mean, kind of like Pixar-y looking, like that type of cartoony.
Very nice. Okay.
So, yeah, so it's not as creepy. Your bodies are all the same, but you get to choose your own head.
Nice.
So, yep.
Still playing Minecraft?
So Dow just started up a vanilla server for the 4 of us to play on together. Yeah, that's where I started streaming, was Minecraft.
Yeah.
I started streaming vanilla, and I was streaming on almost dial-up internet speeds. It was bad. and people would go to Dow's stream so that they could hear my voice continually, but they would watch my like
Watch
choppy
your video.
stream.
Yeah.
Dow's like, "Oh, I have viewers," and everybody's like, "Yeah, we just come here so that we can hear Val's audio."
That's bad.
That's fine, but you don't have to tell him like that's mean.
Poor Dow.
So, yeah, and I did that for a couple years, and then life kind of hit real life,
Mm-hmm.
and so we moved into this house about 3 years ago, and I think the first year I gamed a little bit, but I've been working so much, and both my kids have special needs, so I'm pretty busy with doctor's appointments and stuff like that. So it's been a
I
part
feel
of
that.
my life that's missing.
Life.
I feel it. Yeah.
Should be this. I'm gonna turn this into this. I'm gonna rename this podcast the Parent Cast.
Work full time, and you have to help with the kids and their homework and the laundry and cooking dinner, and you're like, oh, it's 7:30. And then you play for an hour, and then you're like, yeah, I'm going to bed. Bye.
Yeah. I work from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. And then I picked up another job to work 10:30 to 3:30.
Ooh.
So luckily that's on break for a couple months. But I know when I go back, it's gonna like I'm already feeling it. And I don't go back till like April. But I like both of them are customer servicey. My main job, I'm a waitress, and yeah, it can be draining. People are draining.
I actually had a meeting on Wednesday. So I work juvenile detention, juvenile justice, education. And I was at a meeting, and they're like, there was someone who was hired over in Eastern Washington, and you've got really, and we want you to go over to Eastern Washington and train this person. I was like, oh, okay, thinking it'd be like next week or the week after, like whenever I got back from Hawaii. They're like, nope, we need you to leave tomorrow. So Thursday morning I left, went to Eastern, which is like a 4.5, 5-hour drive. Trained this person for a day and a half. Got back in about 6:30 on and I am so wiped. And I on top of it, I woke up yesterday morning and I was crap. So I had to squeeze some time in to go find a walk-in clinic and be like, yeah, I hope I'm not getting sick because I'm traveling next week.
What a crappy time to be getting sick.
I know, right? And I was like, I had my flu shot. I had my flu. Thankfully, it's nothing serious. They just gave me breathing treatment and said, yeah, days and drink lots of fluids and you should be good to go. So hopefully I do not get sick.
There's
never vitamin C.
There's never really a good time to get sick, though.
When you're a single parent working full time, you're just like, no, not happening. No. And then you get sick, and you have to push yourself through. And then my boss gets all mad because she's like, no, you need to go back home, go back to bed. I'm like, no, I need money. I'm
right. It's like, yeah, that's great that you're thinking about me, but I can't afford to do that. So
I know.
Life.
Most of my coworkers are teenagers, and they're like, well, just take a day off. And I'm like, my bills are not as small as yours. Like, I don't have that option.
My bills don't take days off, so why should I?
Right.
I know, right?
Well, so the minimum wage where I am is $12 an hour. So as a teenager, I mean, if the only bill you have is like car insurance and gas, you only have to work like 10 hours a month to make your bills. So when you're working,
I know, right?
15 hours a week, you can take days off whenever you want.
Yeah.
My favorite was to call me. Can you open for me tomorrow? I want to go out and hang out with my friends. I'm like, so you can't stay out till 2 a.m. and get up for 5 at 20 years old? Like, what's wrong with you?
Oh.
You're not ready for adulthood if you can't do that.
I know, right?
Kids these days.
I know. Awful. So then I'm like, oh, I need the money, so I'll go out and I'll
take your shift.
Right.
And some overtime.
Right. They roll in at 7:30. Oh my God, I'm so tired. Time to go to bed. I don't know, like 12:30. Okay, well, I was out till 2.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Talk to me when you're 30 something.
Right, exactly. My coworkers are closer in age to my kids than they are to me.
I work with high schoolers, so if they'll pull that crap with me, and I'm like, yeah, no, wait, give it 15 years, and then come talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
Staying up till 3:00 watching Netflix. No.
Well, I felt bad. A couple of them would work, rough shifts or whatever, and I felt bad. But then there was like a couple of days where my ex had taken my kids on like vacation, and it is crazy how draining kids are.
Yeah.
Like
work
I can life without them so much easier.
Yeah, I totally get that one.
I was like, now I don't feel bad. You can work those 12-hour days.
Yep. You'll grow some character there and a personality.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, kids, they're draining, but they have their bright sides.
That's why I always have wine on
me. What's your favorite wine?
I'm more of a red wine drinker, so I'm actually like not so classy tonight and drinking wine out of a box. Because it just tastes good. So
straight out of the box?
Straight out of the box.
like tipping the box up to your mouth and drinking it straight out of the box. Or did you cut a hole in the bottom just letting it drip out?
I mean, it's got a bladder. It's like
a bladder.
Right. That's what it's called.
Boxed wine. Oh my God. You Americans are so funny.
So I'm so sophisticated.
I bought some boxed Fireball a while back.
You guys put everything in a box down there or what?
We buy everything out of a box these days. Yeah.
If I come down there and go to your liquor store, do you have... Oh, you guys buy your liquor at, like gas stations and everything, don't you?
Well, I mean, where I'm at, I think you have to have like a certain square footage in order to sell hard alcohol, yeah.
So I'm right on a border of 2 states, and one of the states you can only sell out of a state liquor store.
Not here.
There's one place in the entire state that's not like that because it was grandfathered. It's actually right up the street from me. But then here you have, we call them packies. They're package stores. And so you can get alcohol there, or you can get beer and wine at some grocery stores, and you need a specific special license.
Mm-hmm.
So like a big name grocery store can only have so many stores. So they pick and choose where they want to sell their liquor out of.
Yeah. So we have a liquor store, state liquor store down the street, about 6 blocks from where I'm at. And then I believe grocery stores that are bigger than, I want to say like 15,000 square feet can have hard alcohol. And I could be wrong on the numbers, but you have to have a certain square footage in your building. So like our Walmart, Fred Meyer, and Safeway all have hard alcohol.
Ooh.
So
we have beer in our Walmarts, but just like 6-packs, and there's no hard alcohol, just beer.
Oh,
I have to go to a separate liquor. I have to go to a separate liquor store just to pick up my whiskey or vodka or whatever I want.
I stick to wine for the most part, but we might have to have some hard alcohol one of these nights when I get back from vacation when we podcast.
Sounds
Go
good.
for the Tito's or something.
Tito's. I saw Tito's at the store a couple of days ago. Another podcast.
Did you think of me?
Well, I didn't know you drank Tito's.
I like Tito's.
I know you always mention wine, but this
wine. I'm kind of getting into whiskey right now. My whiskey is Basil Hayden's. Yeah, it's a middle shelf. Pretty good, actually. I've never really been a whiskey girl, but
I like my
there
Jack.
You go.
Yeah, same here. I usually don't touch much whiskey other than Jack.
My go-to whiskey drink is called a Washington Apple.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys don't know the recipe, it's I believe an ounce of whiskey, half ounce of pucker, and then you top it off with cranberry juice over ice.
It's pretty good.
It is so good, and they will get you in trouble because they're sweeter. Get you in trouble, oh boy.
Something I've been turned on to recently is Kraken and root beer, like especially Barks root beer.
Oh, Barks is so good.
Have you had an adult root beer float?
Yes, we have. Just over the border, we have these. What are they? Chunkies. It's a restaurant / movie place, and they serve alcohol, and they have adult root beer floats.
Ooh, I don't know if I'd want to go to a restaurant named Chunkies.
Yeah, I don't know why it's called that.
It's an odd name. They have good food.
Nah. But the movies are cheap.
So, like, renting movies or, like, go to watch the movies?
No, like, go watch the movies and you sit in Lincoln Town Car seats.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
Yep. So
I want to go.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. And for, like, if I go to a nice cinema, the tickets can be like $15.
Mm-hmm.
And I can spend about that per person on an alcoholic drink, a meal, and the ticket to go to Chunky's.
Let's go. Flying to you. Let's go.
What about barcades? That's something we're missing in my area. Do you, either you ladies have any barcades close?
No.
Mm-mm.
We don't really have any gaming anything around.
Yeah, not out here either. I think the nearest Dave and Buster's is like way up north too.
Like, I miss arcades. I told my wife that if I ever won the lottery, the first thing I do is move somewhere
Build a arcade.
Well, yeah. My dream used to be, build an arcade, because it's like trying to find an arcade these days is crazy. But yeah, it's I guess
hard.
barcade would be the natural evolution of that.
And I think you could probably bring arcades back. I mean,
it wouldn't be that hard. Yeah.
No, people are into retro and older, bringing back some of that older stuff.
Yeah.
And it's funny to watch kids play them because my son had we have a Game Boy Advance.
Mm-hmm.
What it was. Anyway, but it was the original Mario where you couldn't go backwards.
Mm-hmm.
My kid just kind of goes with the flow, but this other kid, he picks it up and he's looking at it and he's like, I can't go backwards. This is crap. Who wants to play this? And I was like, that was what made them so difficult.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's like half the game right there, is not being able to go back.
My kids would pick up my Game Boy original and they would get so flustered like they felt like dying was so hard or so easy, and they get flustered and they go to play Fortnite or something, like, yeah, I could do this, and they're like, Mom, why is it so hard to play retro games? And it's like, dude, that's just how it was back then. Right. Or I'll plug in my Super NES Mini and they'll go play, like, I don't know, one of the Mario Brothers or whatever else is on there, and they're like, Mom, why does it look like this? Dude, graphics weren't that freaking amazing back then. I'm sorry.
We used to my cousins grew up down the street from me, and then we had a couple of other neighbors, and we would go play out in the snow, and then we'd go to my back to my house, and we'd be like, Mom, can we drink Super Nintendo and play hot chocolate? So she's like, yes, but not at the same time. Because things weren't waterproof back then.
That's what I like to do. Usually around Christmas break, I'll pull out the SNES Mini and we'll hook it up to the big TV downstairs, and we'll do hot chocolate, and I'll make a couple different types of popcorn, and we'll just hang out in our jammies. And that's usually what we'll do Christmas morning after we've done our Christmas gifts and stuff too. So it's kind of like our little tradition.
Yeah. There is something about the old games that are, I don't know, they just feel traditional because it was like our childhood.
Exactly.
Or like, I don't know why that just came into my head. Teaching my kids the tricks of like, I think it was Yoshi's World, that if you like hit start and then select if you'd already beaten the level, you could just go out and not lose a life.
Yes.
It brings you back to the main menu or whatever, the overworld.
Yeah.
My kids have caught on to retro gaming so much that there was a period 3 or 4 years ago where they dressed as Mario and Luigi.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm a pretty proud mama there.
My kids, we did a couple years ago, Dow and I cosplay Harley Quinn and the Joker. And so my kids were like, "Oh, if you go for Halloween as Harley Quinn and the Joker, then we can do like Batman and Batgirl." And then this year we did Guardians of the Galaxy.
Fun.
Yeah,
Who was who?
So my son was Rocket, and he has a little stuffed animal Groot, so we put him on his shoulder.
Oh, cute.
And then my daughter was Gamora, and oh my gosh, it was amazing. Like I couldn't have planned it any better. My son's costume was just one of those like buy the costume, it's got the thing printed on it.
Mm-hmm.
But my daughter's, I like bought her, you know, the pleather pants and a corset, and the jacket was the jacket. And I was like, I don't know how this is gonna look because the corset didn't look right. Put her extensions in her hair, greened her face. Oh my god, it was amazing. And then I was Nebula.
Nice.
And my husband was supposed to be Star-Lord, but he had to work, so
Oh.
we didn't even bother with his costume.
Oh, Dow, always working.
I know. He worked last year. Oh, last year we did Star Wars. So my daughter was Rey, and my son was Chewie, and then I was Leia, and he was Han Solo. And he wore his costume to work last year because we didn't realize he was going to be working. But like I said, this year I just didn't want the money on it. If the kids were like adult age and like gonna fit into their costumes and like we could all wear them again, I wouldn't be so.
Yeah, not so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but usually it's really cold here. This year it was like in the 60s, and
I'm
our
jealous.
pleather pants were fleece lined.
Oh god,
I thought I was gonna die.
Cozy warm.
we had to wear layers this year. It was raining so bad.
So it's funny. You and I have similar weather patterns, even with the distance between us. But like, if you're getting rain, we're getting rain, or if you're getting snow, we're getting snow.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I'll get rain when you're getting snow because you're just that much farther north.
Colder, yeah.
Yeah, but when we that rain came through, we were supposed to get rain that night too. So a bunch of places postponed their Halloween.
Yeah, till Friday.
Yep. Our town couldn't do that because we're only a town of 3,000 people. So in order to close down the road that we closed down for the first time this year, we needed every single one of our police officers, every single one of our fire, including all the on-call guys, and then all of our like road workers to close, like to be around to close. So there was no way that we could reschedule it. So, and a lot of people were like, it's just rain, whatever. Well, it's a good thing we didn't, because yeah, it ended up being like 65 and no wind.
It's just rain, but when it's pouring and you have 2 kids, come on. Just rain. You tell me just rain when it's like my kid's puking at 4 a.m.
That has nothing to do with rain.
Well, they might get sick. It's cold too.
Oh my gosh. We went, the only time that Ashby's canceled is when it was snowing. It snowed. Like 3 feet. Like 2 feet. Of snow on Halloween. It's the only time that we've canceled.
Yeah, I remember back when I was a teenager, going out one year and it was snowing. I'd like that. Walking around with your friends. I think it was just me and my brother at the time. But having like it was a very light snowfall, so the ground was just kind of lightly covered. But then it was just a really light, big snowflakes falling as you're going door to door. That was really cool.
That's pretty cool.
Just something different.
Do you go to neighborhoods? Like, how do you...
So, like, when we were growing up, my parents used to take us to like, we used to live in a townhouse, so because they're all right next to each other, you could just kind of pop off 10 in a row. You know, you go like 20 feet, you have another 10. It's really good to do a lot in a row. And then when we were done our complexes, we would head up to the houses like further up the street. But now since we've had kids and we moved here to a different town, we're also in a townhouse complex. We do the same thing. We're kind of we do our complexes, and then by the time we're done our townhouses, we take the kids up halfway up the street, and then the kids are like, "Oh, I'm kind of tired. Let's go home." So by the time we get halfway up the street, we end up coming home. The last 2 years we've been here now, we did the complexes, we did half the street, and by that time the kids are just ready to come home.
We, when I was growing up, like I said, my town's small. I don't have I can't see a neighbor from where I am. So we used to there was no way to do a couple houses in a row. So you do one house, you jump back in, you go to the next house, you know. When I was in middle school, they started to do the whole Main Street downtown, which I don't know, it's probably about a mile down and back.
Mm-hmm.
So now that's what we do. We just do Main Street, and they take candy donations from everybody in town so that it kind of isn't a huge expense for those on Main Street.
Right.
But that's nice because, you just walk it. So they got, there were a couple of houses counting, and they figure the average is probably around 450 trick-or-treaters.
Wow.
Yep. So this year they decided to close the road.
Yeah, we were halfway through our trick-or-treating, and this house was we've had 2 people, because the rain would not stop before we left, and we kept telling the kids, hey, you know, if it's raining, we're not bringing you guys out if it's that bad. And it kind of died off a bit, so we're like, okay, let's just dress up real good and we'll head out. But I guess there was not a lot of other people were going. By the time we got home, people were kind of starting to get out and get around, but up to that point, there wasn't many kids out, so.
Yeah.
Kids had fun, so.
That's all that matters.
That was good times.
I got lucky this year, so my ex had the kids, and I stayed in.
You stayed home playing games.
I played games and I streamed, and I had this little well, it was my costume, but it was a fleece onesie and it was an owl, and I was just yeah. And when they got back, I ordered pizza and I said, "Cool night, thanks." And then my ex had to endure the cold temperatures because it was 28 degrees.
I have to admit that's one of the things I miss about my ex is he he likes to be outdoors. I'm not huge. I like to be outdoors, but I don't like the cold. I don't like snow. None of that. So he would always take them out when it was snowing. So it was awesome. Well, now when it snows, now they're old enough they can go out by themselves. But when they were younger, after we had gotten divorced, I was like, I don't want to go outside.
I'm not a cold weather person either, which is why I'm migrating over to Hawaii.
I have to stay here for the hospital. We have the best hospitals in the world.
Nice.
So for their needs, it would be stupid of me to move.
Mm-hmm.
I can endure the cold.
Oh, I love the cold.
No.
I'm grumpy.
It makes my body hurt.
Right?
And I'm only in my 30s, so I can only imagine what's going to happen when I'm in my 70s.
I have referred to myself as 30-year-old trapped in a 6-year-old body. Because when it drops below 35, my joints ache so bad.
No, I'm 40 degrees. It's bad.
Yeah.
Everything hurts.
My dad sent me a video today. He lives on the east coast of Canada, so he lives on Newfoundland. It's an island. And he sent me a video today of him out snow plowing his front yard. And the snow's a couple feet deep. And he sends a video. He's like, "Oh, tell your grandson to come down here and help me plow the snow." And the snow's up to his waist almost.
Oh my gosh.
And up here, we've had a small snowfall a couple days ago. But it melted right away, so we pretty much haven't had any more. But down there, it's just, they have snow, I swear, 9 months out of the year.
Yeah,
Crazy.
no, thank you.
I'm good.
But man, you can't beat that place for scenery though. Being on an island and having all the hills and rocks and water, it's just amazing.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I don't do cold temperatures. I don't.
I try. Someone's like, well, if you enjoyed skiing or something like that, maybe. I'm like, no, it's too much work. You're all bundled up. You can't move.
Too many layers.
I'll be the old snowbird when it comes time. I just like, yeah.
All right, want to get into some news?
Yes.
All right, what kind of news you got today? Blizzard news?
Oh yeah, because I seen this and I had to laugh because we've talked about this the last couple of weeks, and Blizzard Activision has seen a drop in their revenue, but it's better than expected. So like, I honestly, with everything that's been going on with like the whole esports thing that went on, and then we had like WoW Classic and BlizzCon. So basically, revenues are down compared to the same period last year. In the third quarter, which we just wrapped up, it was better than expected, and they had strong sales in their World of Warcraft and their Call of Duty franchises. The net revenue was like 1.3 billion, which was an improvement from like the 1.1 from the previous year. However, there was a decrease from like a 1.5 billion revenue from the previous year, which was really crazy. And I think a lot of it was Black Ops 4 and WoW Classic that helped kind of increase those numbers a little bit. So they're kind of sitting in this like middle median, like they're not really like in the red, but they're kind of in this little yellow zone, I guess, from what I've been seeing. And they're like, yeah, we don't know like what to do. And here I'm thinking, look at what you're doing.
It's so weird how the WoW subs are back at an all-time high, and it's for people not even coming back for WoW, but for WoW Classic.
Yeah, like I played WoW Classic for a couple of days, and I was just like, nope, can't do it. And then I started getting into some of my 120s, and I was like, Brewfest is here, and Hallows Eve is here. And now I believe it's like their 15-year anniversary this year. And I'm just like, I'm going to get in and I'm going to play stuff. I play for 2-3 hours and I'm done.
Yeah, what's
like once every other week.
What about you guys, Val? Did you and Dow hit up WoW Classic at all?
No, we couldn't justify the cost.
Yeah.
Of the sub. And this is petty-ish, but a couple of years ago we went to BlizzCon when Overwatch first came out. They spent so much money on Lamborghinis that I was like, had the Overwatch like pictures and like all over the it was like, I don't know, 2 or 3 Lamborghinis and like a couple of Hummers. And I was like, listen, Blizzard, if you're going to be spending money on stuff like that, I'm not paying for my WoW.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need my money if you're going to do that.
They haven't been making very good choices lately.
No, they haven't. But I will say that this article is saying that the third fiscal quarter ended September 30th, which means that the blowback of the whole Hearthstone Grandmaster thing did not partake in that, because I think that was in October, nor the launch of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So I think a lot of the spike sales was from Classic and Black Ops 4, which, kind of thinking about it, it's a little weird, but it's how the whole fiscal year works, I'm sure.
Yeah, apparently that new Call of Duty is doing like super, super well. So I'm sure once they get their fourth quarter... Okay. I'm not sure if that was a guttural thing or what was going on there. I don't know if you were choking on something or what. Did you choke on your boxed wine? Did you get some cardboard in your mouth?
So well, I'm just sitting here like, I've been playing the new Call of Duty, and I'm not. I don't know.
Tell us about your exciting adventures with Call of Duty last week, Brie.
So I started streaming the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which I will say it is not a remake or a reboot of any kind from the previous Modern Warfare expansion, which was released in like 2007, I think. This is completely like, standalone. I was having a hell of a time just getting it up and going. I was playing the campaign and I kept getting DirectX, which those of you that are playing it and having this issue, DirectX 12 was having an issue. So you can go into your Battle.net launcher and then type in, I believe it was like negative D3, D11 or vice versa. And it would kind of force everything to go back to DirectX 11 and it was able to run. And then there's shaders, I feel like, always installing, which kind of slowed down or bogged the game. So then you couldn't go in and play multiplayer. But from what I've played as far as the campaign, I will say the story is pretty good. The gameplay, though, even on Recruit, because I haven't played Call of Duty in 3-4 years, I'm struggling with it, believe it or not. So I can't justify a score right now because I'm still so early into playing with it and having fun with it. Well, I wouldn't even say having fun with it. I've been more screaming at it at this point and getting like, yeah. I ended up streaming and it kept crashing and I was like, screw it, I'm gonna go play multiplayer. And I had some fun with multiplayer and there's some lag and I know there's so much going on with this game.
Because fun is not what I saw.
Yeah. There was some patch notes that apparently went through, and I just uploaded them this morning, and it was 12 gigabytes worth of patch notes. This is a hefty upload.
12 gigabytes worth of fixes.
Yeah, and I haven't played it yet. I haven't I'm trying to decompress from the last anxiety-ridden experience that I had and trying to get myself to have a glass of wine before I play. But there was a lot of freezing and crashes. There were just weird bugs. I can't even explain it. There was nerfs to the M4 and another gun. Something to do with their battle progression system. But yeah, there was just so much as far as UI collision issues. There was something to do with the riot shield. Claymores wouldn't go off when you walked in front of one. Yeah, it was just crazy. Or people would have multiple I think they're called personal radars, and I think you only have one at a time, and there's multiple. So it was just crazy. So it'll be interesting to see what happens after.
We pretty much say this every time a brand new AAA game comes out, that it's just nothing but headaches because let's just get the game out and everything's online these days. We can push a patch out day one. It's when's the last time a AAA game has come out and it didn't have a patch day one?
I know, and I think this patch went through within the last couple of days, if I remember correctly. So, and the game launched last week or the week before?
Friday or something. Yeah.
Look
at Borderlands. I'm still waiting for Borderlands 3 to get fixed.
Yeah. So if you go to Games Radar and look up Call of Duty Modern Warfare patch notes update, this is a hefty article. This is probably a good 5,000-6,000 word article. Yeah. And it just talks about all of the modes, what's happening, problems, what's wrong, what it is massive. So yeah, I will eventually get back into it and give it another go. But right off the first experiences, I am not pleased.
Yeah,
and that's in my mind, because I used to love Call of Duty. I remember playing World at War. That was the first one I got into, and every year since then, I was like, I've got to get the new one. And then they added the exosuits and stuff a few years ago, and I'm like, yeah, not my cup of tea. And I haven't touched one since 5 years or so, and so this is the first one that I picked up. And I'm just like, yeah, this is why I don't play Call of Duty. And this is why I play other things.
Yeah, I've never been a big Call of Duty fan. Borderlands has always caught my. I remember playing, man, almost every weekend for so long. Me and Dow used to like sit up playing Borderlands 2 so much. We beat that game like a couple times on different difficulties, and man, we spent so much time playing that game.
Borderlands is the shit. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think the first time I met you was when you guys were playing Borderlands.
I can't remember. Did we meet in WoW before then, or was it Borderlands first? I was trying to think earlier about when was the first time we all met.
I think you and him played Borderlands. More. I want to say Borderlands.
Yeah.
Because I think we missed each other playing WoW.
And then we played WoW together after.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. So I started playing WoW right before Panda.
That sounds about right when I started playing. It was like the tail end of Cataclysm.
Yep. So like I almost finished Cata before Panda came out.
Because he was hanging out with us when my wife was playing, and that was
before me.
Yeah. I was gonna say because she was playing during Wrath. That's when we had the Rise of Righteousness. We had the guild going, and I remember he was playing with us a bit then. So.
Yep. And then I started playing right near the end of Cata. And it's funny because when he told me that, I was like, really? That feels like, I don't know, it just felt like it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, that just seemed a lot longer ago in the WoW canon than I think it is.
Yeah.
But so Panda was the first one that I finished at the exact, like
right.
at the beginning of when it ended, like when it came out. And then, but I don't think we started playing till Panda. And even then it was only, but I remember falling asleep listening to him talk to you.
Yeah. Yeah, we would spend like long hours playing Borderlands 2, for sure. So I got my son into Borderlands 2 before 3 came out, and we used to play co-op all the time. And so he was getting super excited for Borderlands 3. So like my birthday falls in September, like a week before it comes out. His falls a couple weeks after it comes out. So I'm like, okay, I'll get it for my birthday and then we can play it. And we had to stop playing co-op because it was so crappy on the PS4. The lag was so bad that when one person was in their menu, the other person couldn't move, couldn't aim, couldn't nothing. Like it would be like single digit frames. It was so bad. And now like if he wants to play, we just play alone because it's just so bad and they still haven't fixed it.
But that's, part of the fun of playing Borderlands is with other people.
Exactly. And to just play alone, it takes the fun of it.
Right.
It does.
Playing Borderlands is way more fun with other people.
Right, and when you're playing Borderlands, you're running around shooting, but that's the type of game where you're picking up loot so often that you're in your inventory, you're kind of seeing what's better, and you're putting skill points in and checking the map. So, like you're always doing that. So every time you do that, the other person literally has to stop and not move and not do anything while you're doing it. So it's really bad, and they haven't even fixed it yet. So,
well, that's crappy.
Yeah,
it is. Because Borderlands is one of those games where you have to play with friends. It just it makes the experience so much more fun, especially when you have people playing different characters.
Yeah,
because it's easier to work together. Like, there are some parts that are harder without another person. You can do it
exactly,
which honestly is actually kind of like old Nintendo games. Like there were certain parts in some of them that you needed a second person for.
Exactly.
You can do it by yourself.
Have someone pull the aggro off so you can reload real quick or hide in a corner and heal yourself a little bit, or it's just it makes it fun to have to communicate and say, hey, I need to go do this, or I need to do this. I'm going to hide over here. I'm going to dodge this.
Right.
You know, I'm going to pull aggro so you can do this kind of thing. That's what makes.
Dread, I think the first thing we actually played together was D3, Diablo.
Diablo 3?
On the PlayStation.
Yeah, I could see that. We did play that quite a bit too.
I think that was the 4 of us played.
Yeah, I think she definitely played Diablo 3 for a bit. She played WoW for a bit, she played Diablo for a little bit. And that was pretty much like the end of her gaming. Now she's like tied to her phone and Clash Royale. It's kind of all her gaming is these days.
I have definitely given more props to cell phone gaming in more recent months than I did when it was first. When people will be like, oh, I'm a gamer. Oh, what do you play? Farmville on my phone. Like, oh, okay.
Just everybody's on the go. Everybody has a phone. And it's like, that's the one thing that's always with you, right?
Yep. That's what made the Switch so amazing.
What Switch do you have? Do you have the new light one?
No. We bought 2 for Christmas last year.
Nice. I keep telling myself I'm going to invest in 1 or 2, and I can never myself to do it. And now that they have the light ones, I'm inclined to grab 1 or 2.
Well, my son really wanted it, and so Dal was like, okay. And then he surprised us by having hoarded some money on his own to buy a second one.
Nice.
So, yeah, we actually, we have 2 Switches, 1 PS4, a PS3, a PS2, a Super Nintendo, a regular Nintendo, 4 gaming computers, a whole bunch of handheld stuff. And one of these days we're going to have a room set up. It's the only thing that doesn't apply to the if you haven't touched it in like 6 months to a year rule.
Mm-hmm.
We're keeping. But we've kind of pretty much switched over to, we'll probably get a PS5, but we're mainly PC now.
Mm-hmm. So much easier, you know?
Yeah.
Especially when you have 4, like each your own, like you each have your own computer. Mm-hmm. And it just opens up the possibilities of what you can play like so much.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so much easier than trying to buy, we could buy 4 PS4s, but then like they don't last as long. They don't backplay as well. They don't
4 PS4s, 4 TVs.
Right. And we have, Dow and I each have 2 monitors and the kids each have 1, but it's still, I can upgrade my PC.
Mm-hmm.
My PS4 dies and it's gone.
Exactly.
My video card goes, I can just replace the video card. So, yeah, we pretty much PC. Occasionally we'll pull out the PS4, but
that's kind of how I am anymore these days. I went PC probably about 2 years, and I was team PS4 for the longest time. And I rarely pick up my PS4 nowadays, especially now that my go-to game, Destiny, cross save and on PC. But yeah, like to be able to have your graphics on ultra and to see the frames hitting like 120 or 150, and you're just like, oh my god, this looks so good.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't mention a game here without me thinking of like games that I've played with Dow. Diablo, WoW, Borderlands, Destiny. Man, like every game I could think of in the past like 10 years, I played co-op with Dow. Man, it's crazy. I miss those times.
Yeah. He works more than I do.
Oh,
yeah. Yep. He works, when somebody takes a vacation at his second job, he works 90 hours a week.
Ooh.
So
crazy, man.
That's rough.
Yep. So even though we don't get to spend a lot of time together, if he's one of the reasons why our computers are in our bedroom is if he's at his computer, I'm still in the same room and I can like watch TV or read a book.
Yeah, he's still there. You still know he's there, and it's like
right, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have to be like, well, you have to choose between the game or me, because I'm going to lose every time. So I know my place. So at least this way it's kind of, or he can kind of watch a movie while he games.
Yeah.
Because he just doesn't. Sunday afternoons are about the only time he gets. But
Yeah, it's
compared to when you guys were playing.
Parent game life now.
I know, right?
Stupid responsibilities.
Stupid adulthood.
So, since we're on the issue with Red Dead or PCs, Red Dead recently just launched on PC, and surprisingly, it's been having some issues. Have you guys played Red Dead at all?
No.
No. So I haven't played it either, and I've been wanting to dive into this game because it looks so good, and I've heard so many amazing reviews on this game. But apparently, with the PC launch, it's been having a lot of freezing issues, even with people that are running like the RTX 2080s in their PCs. Like, it's freezing. The CPU is just astronomically high, and it's just like it's causing so many problems. So yeah, like I'm kind of hesitant to pick it up just yet. So it sounds like that's something that Rockstar is working on. But that basically is the big thing going on with Red Dead Redemption 2 is CPU.
Oh, just think of like 6 months from now when they've got that bad boy all sorted out and the mods start rolling out. And just like they did for GTA, instead of, riding around on a horse, you're riding around on like Thomas the Train. In the Wild West.
I know, right?
It's like Back to the Future 3 going on there. Yeah, no, I picked up Red Dead 2 when it came out for PS4, and I put a couple hours into it, not too much, but it's quite the game. It's man, there's so much going on in that game. It's crazy.
I had a friend who lived and breathed it till she finished it.
Ugh. My ex did too. It was like his favorite thing to do. He'd get home from work after working 12-hour days. I'd have dinner ready, and he would just sit there and play the game. Like, the story is so immersive. Like, he played everything, and it took him a week and a half, maybe. And it looked fun. It looked like the graphics were really good on Xbox. So I can only imagine what it's going to look like on PC.
Yeah, I heard it looks really good on PC for sure.
But just hold off, you guys. CPU has been an issue. Rockstar is working on it. There's also been some launcher errors with the players and some, like, I think it's like the AMD processors. So kind of take that into consideration if you're wanting to pick it up. And that's it for news.
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 About non-gaming news, what do you sit down and watch, Val, when you guys watch a movie or TV? Do you guys have TV, or do you have TV shows that you watch, like a series?
Do we have TV where I'm from? Yes.
What? You have
We're not
TV
the
there?
Flintstones, Brad.
You have electricity? Oh my god.
I do. Sometimes they only put it on for like 6 hours at a time.
Oh, well, you can't afford the bill when it's not.
Right,
when it's on all day. Come on.
So I watched Lucifer.
What? How dare you say that?
No way!
You can't. That's the ad for this podcast. We're sponsored by Lucifer.
It's so good. Oh my gosh.
Have you seen the whole thing yet, or where are you at?
Oh, I've seen the whole thing.
Oh,
yeah.
No spoilers.
Oh, so yeah, no spoilers. So, what was it? I think was it my first or second podcast, Dread, where I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna put Lucifer in the middle because I had just binged.
We just talked about Breaking Bad and El Camino.
Yeah, so I binged those
and
two, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna put Lucifer right in the middle, and then go into Better Call Saul. So we start like. This has been like the last 2-3 weeks. We've been talking about Lucifer and updating, like, hey, what are you thinking of it? Where are you at? And da 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 da. So I just started season 3. Yeah, no, day before yesterday. No, Wednesday, because I was in Kenwick on Thursday, so it was Wednesday I started season 3. And oh, good lord.
And so you've watched all 4, right, Val?
Yes. So I watched it. My second job is working at a hot dog stand, and so I have tons of free time. So I watch when I binge watched it. It took me like a week.
Mm-hmm.
So where is that in the storyline?
Oh, well, let me ask, Dread, where are you at?
Yeah, be careful. Don't spoil it. So I'm almost. I'm not quite at the end of season 3. He just.
Wait, so you're ahead of her?
No, sorry. She just started season 3. I'm just the end of season 2, getting there.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So where are you? What's the descriptor?
The Blade. He killed Uriel. Spoilers for anybody listening. Yeah, so Uriel showed up, tried to take out Detective Decker, right? And he toasted his brother. Now, they just kissed, actually, last episode, so...
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, my theory is, so now there's a thing going on where his mom and his brother are thinking, well, mostly his mom, are thinking, oh, there's something special about her because apparently his brother, 30 years ago went back and helped impregnate Decker's mom.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking,
that's where you're at.
Right. So I'm thinking, man, so like, is she an angel then? Because she's like repelling his powers, and so that's kind of
yeah. 2 are pretty much character building.
Yeah.
You don't really get into like the nitty gritty of the storyline till 3 and 4 is, and they signed for a 5th season.
Yes. It's going to be 16 episodes too, split into 2 parts.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. I don't want to say anything and like not have spoilers, but have you I'm sorry, Dread.
I'll take off my headset for a second.
Well, I was gonna say, have you seen the part where Lucifer has to kill himself?
No.
No? Okay. I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah,
that was an intense episode.
It was, right? And then the mom comes in and she's like,
Yep.
And that's still in season 2?
You get to a point where you don't hate his mom as much.
Yeah, like
there are a couple of things she does.
Half the episodes I hate him. He's such a... I'm like, oh man, stop being such a dick and just like... It's like this girl is like, it's like, dude, man, just stop being such a
Oh, you'll
douche.
be mad at him even more.
Exactly. I hated the mom for the longest time, and I feel like there's a point where you kind of learn where her compassion is coming from and the reasoning why she's such a conniving bitch.
Yeah, I don't like her right now.
I'm going to say that your heart is going to grow soft, and God forbid, Dread, if you do an update next week without me, I will come find you.
Don't bring God into this.
I will be on a booze cruise next week when you guys are recording, so maybe you'll have to like call in for 5 minutes and be like, "Hey, let's talk about Lucifer."
Give us your Lucifer update. Yeah, next week.
Lucifer update.
Next week will be like heavy on anime next week. So
I'll be 2 Mai Tais in, be like, "Yeah, what's going on?"
Are those boxed Mai Tais?
I hope not.
They probably don't serve box stuff down in Hawaii. Yeah.
I mean, as long as there's alcohol in them, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Do
they taste like cardboard? No, I guess not, right?
No, they're in a bladder, she said.
Oh, in the bladder, in the cardboard. Gotcha.
Yeah, there's like a plastic bag.
It's so weird.
Your wine's in there, and it's got like, Why
don't you just buy the bladder?
Like,
when you buy milk,
up.
Okay, well, when I buy milk, they don't come in a box.
We don't buy milk like that.
I know, but when I buy milk in a bag, it doesn't come in a box. We put it in like a container that holds milk.
Right. We're lazy, and they just sell us the container too.
Because we're Americans, duh.
Jeez, so like
I literally.
So in America, you guys go buy milk. It comes in the bladder in the box.
It comes in a jug.
It comes
jug
in a or a box.
But,
oh my god, you guys are so confused. You guys are so confusing. Why don't you put everything in a bladder in a box?
So like this is Brie in a nutshell right here. So I have my protein powder. It's like a Gatorade protein powder, and it comes in a big tub. So because I'm always reaching for my wine box sits on top of my protein, and it's like the perfect height, so I can just stick my wine glass underneath and hit the little nozzle, and it just pours. It's like perfect.
How many times do you take a swig of your protein powder instead of your wine?
Well, you have to mix my protein with water, and I will sometimes even add a scoop to my coffee for like extra flavor.
Extra kick in the morning.
Yeah, protein won't kill you. Especially after the gym, I'm gonna need it tomorrow. Holy shit!
So you're saying Lucifer is great in the 4th season?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Things to look forward to.
Now I'm gonna binge. I have tomorrow and Monday off from work, so I think I'm gonna be watching and playing on my guitar. Sounds like a great weekend to me. And packing still.
And I just started watching Broadchurch.
Ooh, is that the one with David Tennant?
Yes.
How is that?
So I'm not usually a fan of slow moving things. Like to get into Doctor Who, speaking of David Tennant, I struggled because the beginning's like slow.
Mm-hmm.
This is slow. It's a murder mystery. And you don't find out, like, it's a murder mystery that goes across the whole season. So it's very, very slow moving. But I love it. So I don't know why. It holds my attention long enough. I don't know if it's the characters or if it is the way the story is written or the way they give you little bits and pieces here and there. And it's a British show, so I think that I feel like the British are better with their mystery.
Yeah, that could be true. See, that one's been something I've kind of like, I'll pass through on, it's like Amazon Prime or something. I'm like, ooh, I should like give that one a go. And I'm like, I don't know. It does look so moving, but I also loved Doctor Who. So I don't know, like, I'm kind of like in this weird median, but I have so many shows that I want to binge that I don't have time for right now because I'm so like working full time takes up everything. And I'm like, okay, what am I doing? Prioritize here, Brie. Prioritize.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that other job that I did a lot of sitting during, I wouldn't have been able to binge. I hadn't been watching a lot of anything. And I'd be like, oh, I'm going to wait for Dow so I can watch this. Then he doesn't have time. So I just told him the other day, I was like, I'm going to binge some of this stuff. And he was like, well, we're paying for it. You might as well watch it. I'm like, oh, that's a good point. Now I won't feel bad for watching things without him.
Ex and I, when we started watching Supernatural, I think season 10 or 11. And I was watching a couple of episodes a night, going kind of like at my own pace. And at the time, he was working for the juvenile detention that I'm working at now, but he was working graveyard shift. And so he'd have like all this downtime. And so he'd start watching like every episode. And he watched all the seasons in like a week and a half. It was just crazy. So like I'm sitting here and I'm watching like season 5 or season 6. He's like, oh, this episode's so good. I'm like, what do you mean it's so good? He's like, I kind of started season 7 last night. I'm like, are you kidding? Like he just kept going forward and forward. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And he like, so he finished everything and started watching the new season at that time. And he's like, yeah, I'm all caught up. And here I am, like season 6 still. So I get that. And you're like, oh.
I feel bad, but like he just watches episodes and then he's like, what is this? And I'm like, oh, and I just fill him in real quick. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
There were a couple of times that I would be like, oh, wait, you have to see this episode. I'll watch it again.
Yeah. Is he like a spoiler kind of guy? Like he'd say something like, oh shit, like that's 3 episods later.
No.
Oh, you're lucky. Max was horrible at that.
Dow doesn't watch TV shows. He watches Invader Zim all the time.
Did you see the movie?
No, did he? I'm sure he did.
Of course. We sat down and watched it together.
I've never even watched the TV show.
What?
I've always seen the little picture and I've never watched it.
It's weird and funny. And I can definitely see why he loves it, and I think that's why I like it.
Yeah,
because it's very him.
very him.
Mm-hmm.
So who's this David Tennant guy? Last week you guys talked about.
He's a fox.
You and the other Megan talked about him and Good Omens. And
yeah,
Doctor Who. And now you're saying he's in this other show, this church show?
Oh, David Tennant is like... I think he's like 50 years old, but he's still a fucking babe. Like, I kid you not.
And
I'm trying to think of... Yeah, he's so talented.
What would I know him from? Like, I never watched Doctor Who. But would I know him from anything else?
I don't know. I'm looking up his IMDb right now.
I think we're doing the same thing.
He was born in 1971.
Oh, was he?
He's like 10 years older than me. Jeez.
Oh, so have you seen Harry Potter?
No, I've only seen the first couple movies.
Are you kidding me?
I'm more of the Lord of the Rings guy. Come on.
He played Barty Crouch in The Goblet of Fire.
Oh, couldn't tell you. Unless it was the redhead, I couldn't tell you.
He also played Kilgrave in Jessica Jones.
I've only seen the first couple episodes of that.
Oh my gosh.
You have some series.
No, like I watch Suits. Come on, I watch other stuff.
I need to catch up on that.
Suits is so good.
How is it without the two main characters?
I don't know. I haven't watched the newest one yet. So
okay.
I watched the last episode where they kind of left, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be awkward seeing like the main character leave the show. So yeah, it's kind of weird.
I have a hard time seeing her and not.
I know it's so weird seeing her on a magazine. I'm like, she was like half naked making out with this guy in the TV show. And now she's on this magazine acting all posh. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? Yeah, it's so weird. Yeah, it's so weird. So what else has this guy been in?
Nothing.
Nothing?
He did voices of stuff.
Yeah, British shows.
Oh my gosh. I bet if you've seen his face, though, you'd be like, oh.
So, look, if I wanted to go see his best work, what would I go watch him in? Doctor Who? Is he, like, was he one of the doctors or no?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
You'd want to watch,
I'm just wondering if I wanted to go see, like, his best stuff. Like, where would I go?
It wasn't the first season. I think he came in, season 2? Because it was Christopher Elliston, I think.
Yeah.
We're talking like old Doctor Who, like old.
05 to 2013.
Yeah.
What, Doctor Who? I thought Doctor Who was like from the 70s, 80s.
I mean, it was, but this is more of like a reboot. Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
When
okay.
he did it, it was.
You're talking about being the second Doctor. I'm like, man, hasn't this show been on for like tons of years?
Yeah, if you watch Doctor Who and kind of start, granted the first season wasn't my favorite, but it'll kind of, if you watch those first 2 seasons together, it'll kind of give you an overlay of how the Doctor changes out every.
But there's like a new version of this show though not the old show. Like
you can. I think you can just go into, if you have Amazon Prime, you can just type in Doctor Who and it should be there.
Yeah. Okay. Just like for the non-70s, 80s one.
Mm-hmm.
What about this Disney business? Guys all up on Disney or what?
Disney Plus and Thrust is the new slogan that I'm hearing at my high school that I work at. And I
What'd you
say?
Say that again, please. I'm pretty sure I misheard you, but I want to clarify, please.
I don't think you did.
It is the new Netflix and chill, apparently. Disney Plus and Thrust.
Plus and wow. There's the title of the episode right there. Plus and Thrust. So, wow.
I actually recently just signed up for Disney Plus. I think it starts up on the 12th. And I'm so excited. My kid, I haven't even told my kids that I have it yet. So,
how can you not?
It's going to be like a surprise because they've been wanting it
how
forever.
Can you not sign up for it?
I know, right? Because it's got everything.
Where do I sign up? Like, do I watch it on my browser? Is it a channel? Like, how do I get this thing?
It's kind of
like
Netflix.
So there's
Yeah,
an
it's
app
Just
for it?
another streaming thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so just like in your web browser, type in Disney Plus, and it'll pop up, and you can sign up, and you sign up for like just like Netflix or Hulu.
Okay, but like
Um,
upstairs in the living room on my TV, like I've got
I
like,
don't
you
know
know,
when
there's no
they'll
web
push
browser
updates
there.
for it.
Okay.
I think there'll be an app.
That's what I'm wondering. Like I don't have any apps. It's not a smart TV, so
Yeah,
on our
so
cable box we have Rogers channel or like a Netflix channel, but I don't know if we could have an actual like Disney Plus channel.
I
So,
would assume so, and I know
My
that if
cable
you sign
box
up,
doesn't do Hulu.
No.
there's I think a package deal where you can sign up for Disney Plus and Hulu for like a package deal, and it's like 14 or $15 a month for the two of them. But with Disney Plus, you're also getting like National Geographic, Disney, Marvel, and there's like a whole bunch of other stuff that you're getting too.
I just want my
Disney,
kids to
Pixar,
watch like
Marvel, Star Wars, National Geographic.
Mm-hmm.
DuckTales and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's worth it.
I was looking. I can't wait for the Loki series.
Yes. Oh, yes. I'm excited to have all the Star Wars stuff like right there.
Will they have Tailspin on there?
I think so.
What about Gummy Bears?
Were they
I don't
Disney?
know.
I have no clue. Chippendale Rescue Rangers, man. I remember all these shows. I want my kids to watch all these shows.
So there were things like Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Oh, the movie, yeah,
And-
the Disney
Oh,
movie.
wow.
Yes,
Yep.
and Darby O'Gill and the Little People, and those were like
Oh, the Boogeyman.
That's what I-
Oh.
that's what I grew
Mhm.
up on. So I was like reading through, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be awesome."
I have nightmares from that show. The Boogeyman movie.
Yeah.
Oh, so creepy.
So yeah, I'm so excited. And I'm thinking now that I have the service, I'll be downloading some movies or some shows on my flight to Hawaii. I'll be watching all of it.
Yeah, unlimited downloads on up to 10 devices.
Yeah, I'm
Crazy.
super excited.
I'll have to look into that and see if I can get that. There's no point in me getting it downstairs. I need to be able to get it upstairs where the kids are all the time.
I think, yeah, you can probably have it on multiple devices. And I'm sure there'll be an app, but I think just for Disney Plus, it's like $7.99 or $8.99 a month.
Yeah.
And then
That's
you
what I
can
saw.
bundle with Hulu for like 15, which that's not bad at all.
Yeah. Although when you
That right there is
add
my
them all
Netflix.
together.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, my cable box has Netflix, but it doesn't have Hulu. It
Right.
has Amazon Prime. So, but I'd be kind of surprised if they didn't figure out but that, I mean, it has to do with contracts.
Yeah. I have an Amazon Fire Stick upstairs and downstairs. My like all my apps and stuff. It's like my Hulu, my Netflix, Amazon Prime, Plex, all that stuff's there. And then I could like the good thing about it is I can just pull one of them out of the TV and take it with me when I travel.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty nice. And I think I think the newer ones are like $30. And they're fancy. The remotes actually like control your TV, so you can like power the TV on and off and turn the volume up and down. Makes you feel
I was just thinking, I don't know if you guys did this. So when I was in high school, and Universal remotes first came out,
Uh-huh.
we had TVs. Some of the rooms had TVs like up in the corner, but some of them had to have ones wheeled in because we had our like news program. But when the Universal remotes first came out and you could turn on the TVs, and everybody thought they were like amazing. I'm like, yep, that was our technology, being able to turn on any TV we wanted.
Mm-hmm. That's how I feel with this little like Prime remote Fire Stick. I'm like, yeah, I can turn my TV on and off. I don't find the other one.
I like
Volume up or down.
I changed my wife's life because when we first met, I had like an Xbox 360, a PlayStation. I had a projector that we had in the ceiling, a receiver, and she had like a little like 27-inch TV and a PS2. So I brought with me like 6 or 7 remotes, and she's like, "Oh my God, how am I supposed to? I go to work and like, how am I supposed to learn how to get the TV turned on with all your remotes here?" So one year I went out and bought like a Harmony remote, and now she just has to like pick it up and push like watch TV, and it turns on the receiver, turns on the TV, switches the right inputs, turns off all the other stuff, and now she's been in heaven with that remote ever since. So
They're awesome.
without that, it's like crazy.
And then if you're like, oh, help, and it's like, okay, did it do this?
Yeah,
Did it do
is your
this?
TV on? Is it in the right input?
Yeah, and
Mhm.
it'll like fix everything.
Yeah.
So I just did some quick research here. The streaming service for Disney Plus will be available on typical platforms such as Disney Plus website, smartphones, and most modern televisions,
Mhm.
with the notable exception of Amazon Fire TV.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Because Disney and Amazon butted heads about.
Don't like each other.
Yep.
Dang.
I don't like Disney. Damn
That's
it.
fighting
Yeah, I
words.
just happened to look it up and I was like,
Damn.
oh, she's all about her Fire Stick.
I love my
there's
Fire
that.
Stick. That is like my pride and joy. That is what I wanted in the divorce. Give me the Fire Stick.
Fire stick? Oh my god.
You could have everything else.
It's got my Fubo on it. Give me my Fire Stick.
Yep.
Dang.
God damn.
Yep.
That's okay. I still have a PlayStation. It better be on a PlayStation at least.
Yeah, I would think so. It doesn't list that, but
I
it'd be
hope
really weird
so.
if they didn't. I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like the gaming systems are the first things they come out on.
Yeah. Knock on wood.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll have to
Okay.
keep everybody updated on once that drops. What's the date for that? 12th for you
The
guys?
12th.
18th
Yeah.
here in Canada, I think.
That's my birthday. Yay.
So next week we'll have to I'll talk to my next viewer and see if they've got it. They live in Australia, actually, and I think they're not getting it till the 19th. So
Oh, wow.
neither of us will be able to talk about Disney Plus next week.
I might have to phone in. I'm telling you.
I'll hook up with you when you're on the beach drinking Mai Tais.
I'll be on a cruise, dude. What's up? Breeze 2 Mai Tais in. How's it going? The last bit of TV news. So I love The Magicians. It's one of my favorite shows. It's on Sci-Fi. It's like an adulterated version of Harry Potter because of all like the sex and shit. But they just dropped a teaser and it's coming in January, and I'm super, super excited. That's all I'm saying.
I watched the trailer and I'm like, I have no clue what this show is. I've never heard of it before.
But
I watched the trailer. I'm like, oh, this looks interesting.
I believe
2015.
Yeah, so I believe some of the seasons are on Netflix. If you're done binging Lucifer, you should go binge The Magicians.
Oh, it's on Netflix. Some of the earlier seasons.
I believe so.
Okay, I might
Yeah,
have to
it
check
says
it
it's
out.
available on Netflix, YouTube, Amazon Prime, but that one costs money.
Yeah, is it a good show? Yeah.
Bucks a show.
Yeah, it's really good.
All right, I'll have to check it out.
So yes, I would highly recommend it. But the new season comes out in January, so that gives you a month and a half to binge four seasons.
4 seasons. I still have two more seasons of Lucifer to go.
At
Yeah.
an hour an episode, at 52 minutes an episode.
Mhm.
And like my main time for watching shows is like Friday, Saturday nights, or like a half an hour I get a break at work. So
I would still recommend this one. It's pretty good. It's got an interesting storyline to it. Storylines.
So like it's literally
Girl.
just like about people wielding magic then?
Pretty
Like
much,
it
yeah.
says?
There's
Like people
Pretty much.
like are we talking like people doing real magic, or are we talking about like people performing magic on a stage type deal? Because the magician's like
real magic.
okay.
But there's like a little these are based off a series of books though
Mhm.
too. So there is a character that like does more of like the stage magic,
Yeah.
and then he learns that he's an actual like magician.
Okay.
And then there's like different I don't want to say classes, but there's different
Different types.
different types of magic that you can
Mhm.
perform too.
Gotcha.
And yeah, it's pretty good.
Cool. I'll have to check it out. I'll always try like at least 2 or 3 episodes of something at least to give it a try.
Exactly. Now, I have to ask, now that we're done with all of the gaming news and stuff, what is this Walmart P story you have to tell us about?
Okay, I know you've been putting like question marks in the outline here for like 2 hours. So, like I have this thing where, like, I mean, nobody probably likes going to the bathroom in public places if they don't have to, right? It's dirty. It's not your own place. It's just, I mean, you do it if you have to, but chances are you don't if you can hold it right.
Mm-hmm.
So we're at Walmart. think it was last week or a couple days ago actually. And so the wife and the kids are kind of like starting to go do their thing, and I had to go take a leak, right? Take a pee. I go in there and there's 2 urinals, which if you've heard any of the earlier podcasts, I do not use urinals. 36 years, I've never used a urinal in my whole life.
Oh no!
So that's a big story. So, anyways, I go into the stall, and I don't know. People say that it's just the men's washroom that's a mess. I don't know. Maybe I should just go going into the girls' washroom if it's not going to be that bad. So, anyways, I go into the stall, and it's like there's like a flood on the floor by the toilet.
Oh no!
Now I'm like, I've got to pee so bad. So bad where I had to go to the bathroom at the store. I couldn't hold it. And I'm like, I can't tell if this is water on the floor. I can't tell if it's pee. I'm like, I don't want to take a chance and step in it. And it's like around the whole toilet. It's like filling up this stall. I'm like, I can't help it. I'm getting out of here. So I know there's a washroom at the back of the store. So I catch up with my wife. We get most of our groceries done, and then we're in the back of the store, and there's another washroom. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go try this washroom and see how it goes. I go in there, it's 2 urinals, 1 stall. Go in the stall, the entire floor around the bowl covered in liquid. I'm like,
oh no.
What the is going on here? Is somebody going in here, like, overflowing these toilets, or peeing all over the floor? I do not understand how hard it is to pee in public. I don't know. It was not cool. I ended up having to hold it till I got home, and it was not fun.
Oh my god. It sounds painful.
Do you partake in the public restrooms or not?
No.
Neither for number 1 or for 2?
Hard no. I will hold it.
And what if your kid has to go?
Then he can go. I'm not gonna judge him.
If it's not good enough for you, but it's good enough for your kids.
I'm not gonna judge my kid. As long as he cleans up after himself, he's good to go.
Oh, this same bathroom. Now that I think of it, the same bathroom my son had to go. And we went in there, and there was blood on the toilet seat. I kid you not. I kid you not. This was like a half decently clean Walmart, like a pretty new one the last couple years. And I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, let's get out of here. I'm like, he's like, I haven't gone yet. I'm like, wash your hands. I don't care. We're just leaving. Oh, it was gross.
Sounds like you need their cleanup crew in aisle 2.
Oh my god, it was gross.
Are your Walmarts like our Walmarts? Like, I saw a meme the other day that said, I went to go get something at Walmart and I couldn't find it, so I had to go home and change out of my pajamas and take a shower so I could go to Target.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, we don't have Targets anymore.
Yeah, but like, are your Walmarts trashy like that?
They're not, though. Other than the bathrooms. Like, they're always pretty nice looking. You don't see, I mean, you see the odd person that's kind of, you always see, like, the Walmart memes where it's like, oh, look at these
colored leggings.
Yeah, like, look at these top 50, like, weird, crazy people that are at Walmart. It's like,
man.
Like, I never see that at Walmart. They're always, like, the shelves are nice and stocked, the floors are clean. They're, like, the produce is always pretty nice. Because, like, all of ours here have grocery stores, right? Like, I'm sure you guys do, too, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just... No, yeah. Yeah, same here. We have, like, 1 or 2 very small ones that don't, but...
I feel like... I don't know if it's because a good chunk of the area where I live, the Northeast being so old, that a lot of our stores are small.
Right.
Like, so the air, like, yeah, we have big wide open spaces, but you can't just put a Walmart in the middle of nowhere. You have to put it where things are busy.
Yeah.
And when things are already busy, there's not. So, like, Brie, when you were talking about square footage of stores, ours doesn't go by square footage because we could have a super Walmart that's tiny because we just don't have.
You're limited on your space, yeah.
Right. And I think it's when you were saying that earlier, I was like, oh yeah, we're, kind of limited. And now I'm thinking it's part of that's because so much of our buildings and popularity, population was established so long ago.
Yeah. That
Before
makes
they were
sense.
like, oh, we need stores that are, 2 acres big.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like,
Where could I put a store this big? Huh?
right.
Walmarts are crazy. Like in this town we live in now, we just moved here a couple years ago. There's one Walmart in like this town, and you go back to like the two cities that were kind of next to each other that we lived to before, which is only like 10 minutes away. There's literally 8 Walmarts within those two cities. Like every corner every corner of that city you go to, there's a Walmart. It's
So how long does
insane.
it take to get between them?
Well,
If you
like
were to drive from one to the other, how far time-wise is it?
there's one on this one street, and you can take that street up about 5 minutes and then turn left, and you're at the next one.
Now, during rush hour, does it take longer?
Yeah, well, yeah, like it's a pretty busy section of town, and they kind of built out a bunch of like, new houses back there.
Yeah.
They kind of done up a bunch of like, it's called the boardwalk, and they have got like the new theater back there and all the new medical buildings and new Walmart. But literally, there's one like 5 minutes away though, like maybe 10 minutes in traffic. But man, that's not very long to go for a Walmart.
No, well, no. Well, so, I'm 30 minutes from anything, a highway, a grocery store. Like, we joke all the time about, like in the old days when people be like, "Oh, I'm going into town."
Yeah,
That's what it's like here. Like my mom and my sister and I all live within 2 miles of each other,
right.
and we'll text each other and say, "Hey, I'm going into town. Do you need anything?"
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes when you're a mom and you're at home by yourself, and you're like, "Crap, we need milk for tomorrow morning."
Yeah,
So if I'm going to get milk, I'll text my sister and say, "Hey, is there anything you need?" Because she's thinking, "Oh, I really need toilet paper, but I have tissues, so I can go till tomorrow."
yeah,
But if I'm going, I can grab it for her. And so my friends give me a hard time because they all live in like cities.
you're so used to it. Yeah,
So they're closer to things. And I'm like, well, there are a couple of reasons why I don't mind this. One is because depending on what city you're in, it can take you 20 minutes to go 2 miles.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still 20 minutes from a Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
The other reason why I like being out this far, and they see it when they come out very rarely because 30 minutes is forever to drive. The sunsets, I can see all the stars. I have no
don't have to deal with all the ruckus of trains going by at 5 a.m. and
Right.
people speeding down the road doing 60 and a 30 and
quietness.
It's
I miss it.
yeah. Long story short, Dow found out a couple years ago that the father that raised him adopted him. His mom is his biological mother, but his sisters from his biological father are from a city. And they asked us if we like to go camping. And I was like, I mean, yeah, if you wanted to go camping, we'd go camping, yeah. Well, then when they came out to see our house, they were like, "Oh, no wonder you don't really like to go. You're camping here." And
You're already camping.
Plop a tent in your backyard. There you go.
Exactly.
Oh, my
Yep.
goodness.
Yep. The only thing we don't have is a water source, like a pond or something like that. But other than that, my friends are like, "Yeah, we should." I'm like, well, maybe we'll build like a cement pond and we can do that.
Yeah.
We can just start camping in my backyard.
Man,
Sounds enjoyable.
the small town when we were growing up in Newfoundland, it was so small. It was like literally only a couple hundred people that we'd have to go an hour and a half to get to McDonald's.
Oh.
So like our town still doesn't have it now. I mean, that was like 30 years ago when I lived there, but they just got a Tim Hortons like a couple years ago. So
We only have we have one blinking light in town. The cafe that I work at is the only restaurant in town. We have a couple of stores, but we don't have any major businesses in town. We're very very small, and people don't want businesses because they don't want to become commercialized. Like
living in a small town is so different when you go to a big town.
Mm-hmm.
Such a culture shock.
Oh yeah.
Like I've never seen a person of any type of color or race until I moved up here. Like down there, it was just I would never see it. We had like a Chinese food restaurant, and there was like a Chinese gentleman that worked there. And other than that, like I've never seen anybody until I moved up here. And it was just it's crazy how things are so different down there than they are up here.
Are you're pretty much like your cities are pretty isolated, right?
Down there?
Well, like yeah. So like in my town and where I went to school in my school district, which was 3 towns.
Hmm.
When I was in high school, there were probably I don't know 1,200 kids, and we had like 3 or 4 um, black kids in my school.
Right,
But I'm only 15 minutes from a city that's not as big as like Boston, but it's a decent size.
right.
That's more minorities than it is. But you don't have to go very far from your areas of white to find a minority
Yeah.
bunch. Make sense?
Yeah, like we were like I said, we were an hour and a half away from a place that had like a mall or a you know, like a McDonald's. But like
Yeah.
we were known as like the shopping city for like all the towns around us. I mean, we literally had like nothing. Like we had this little strip mall that had like, this place called like Dolphins Mall, and you walk inside and it's got the bank and like a little corner store or something like, and a Mary Brown's chicken place, like nothing. And that was like our mall, and we were considered like the shopping center for like around towns because they literally had like a gas station or nothing or a corner store. So it was just crazy how we would have to go so far to get to anything normal. And we had like this the city I lived in, like only had a couple hundred people. Literally was like, one little hospital, like one school. So like everybody in town went to the one school, one church. So
We have we had 3. We have 2 churches in town. That which is so funny to me. Like we don't have any doctors or hospitals or nothing like
yeah,
that, but we have 2 churches. And they're like the old traditional looking
yeah,
New England churches. So it's funny that for as long as the town's been around, earlier than the country, these 2 churches have been standing here
and
literally right next to each other.
people need to pray. People need the faith.
Hmm.
Well, that's all I've got today. What about you guys? You guys got anything else too?
I am good.
Yeah, I'm good.
So where can people, what do you, so like I know you don't do much streaming anymore now, like it's weird, like you guys used to always be streaming in the places that people were not, when people were streaming in Twitch, you guys were like in what, Mixer and Beam, and always in places where people weren't. Now everybody's switching over to those places.
Well, so yes and no. So we've been out for a while now.
Right.
Yeah, and it was Mixer, and we
Hmm.
still have we have our OG tags next to our names, but like some of the big streamers that switched over to Mixer are switching back to Twitch.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. Like Dow used to watch streams like crazy,
Hmm.
and we haven't been watching them enough to know. And I have some ins at Mixer, and I just haven't had a chance to message to find out why. I mean, they seem to be doing really well. They're still one of my main pages when I open up my Chrome.
Right.
So they're still going like I mean, after they got Microsoft to back them,
Right. Yeah, that helped. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they have the past 2 years at PAX, they've had one of the biggest booths.
Hmm.
So they like right now I'm looking they've got, I mean, They're still obviously not Twitch because
Yeah, Twitch is.
I don't think anybody can ever truly compete with Twitch.
Twitch is so mainstream now; it's crazy.
It is.
But Twitch changed some of the stuff about their platform, I think, to compete with Mixer. I mean, I think part of the reason why people were jumping ship to Mixer from Twitch, I now see those things on Twitch, and so I think that's helping because Twitch still has the main. Oh, I stream. Oh, on Twitch. No, Mixer. Oh, what's that? Like, so, but yeah, I've definitely noticed that Twitch is a little more user friendly than it used to be, and a little more. One of the things I really liked about Mixer is very community oriented. It was because it was so small, you knew so many people. Like, you could jump into a stream and you knew at least one or two people. So I think as it gets bigger, some of that appeal loses its luster.
Yeah, there's just too many people at that point where you're not going to see the same people as often.
Right. But then Mixer has also changed the way that it does its stream keys now too. So, like, you have to apply for one just to stream. It takes 24 hours.
Interesting.
Yep.
That should save on the bots.
Yeah.
I know, right?
It was just weird because, like the last, couple months or whatever, we had Ninja and Shroud both jump to Mixer.
There was a Destiny streamer, King Gathalion. He also jumped ship too, and he went
Borderlands
to Mixer.
Too. But then, like, months and months ago, there was a girl on Twitch. Her name is Renee, and she's pretty popular. And she went to Mixer. Now she just came back to Twitch again. So it's like, yeah, these people are just jumping ship back and forth.
Did you watch Lucklin at all?
No.
He's one of big Minecraft streamer. He's one of Craig's favorites.
Yeah.
He had a bunch of people like living in his house, and two of the guys that were living in his house started Mixer when it was Bean, and so he just jumped back to Twitch. And that's why I'm wondering if there's something going on, because it's weird that someone who was so big in Beam's creation
is now switched
back.
Maybe had a falling out or something.
Maybe.
That's weird.
Part of me thinks it's related to Microsoft.
Yeah.
The way that if they started to run things way differently. But I don't.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see once the new Xbox comes out if they push Mixer as much as they're behind it now.
Exactly.
Sometimes I feel like they're behind it, and then other times I feel like it's
there.
Right. Like they don't try as hard as they could. Because Microsoft is huge. Like, so it should be.
Yeah, bigger. They should be putting all their weight behind it, right, to get it out there.
Targeted ads. I don't ever see a Mixer ad.
Either do I. Not unless it's on like Ninja's, Facebook or YouTube or Twitter or something. Like, that's the only time I see a Mixer oriented advertisement.
Yeah, like.
And still, that's like really hard to come by. So it makes you wonder, like, what's going on. Like, I'm sure the payout systems are different, and so that's going to be interesting to follow up on.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that if anything else kind of goes on in the Mixer atmosphere. All right, let's wrap this sucker up here. Where can people find you on the socials, Val?
They can find me on Twitter. Under Valandrah. I'm going to spell it because phonetically it doesn't make sense. It's Valandrah, Valandrah. And Mixer or Twitch, I haven't decided. I need to start streaming again, and I haven't quite decided where I want to go.
Yeah.
That has been one of my holdups, is trying to figure out when I go back where I want
Which
to go.
to go,
'cause
yeah.
I don't want to go back and then switch.
Right.
Exactly. Make one your home port. Call it good.
Exactly.
And what is the current state of Wicked Awesome Gamers?
Quiet.
Quiet.
Yeah. Well, we were hoping to remember our friend Charles, call him C. He was gonna join with us, and he was gonna start a YouTube channel, and he was like all in, and he bought all the stuff.
Yeah.
And then he didn't go anywhere with it.
Yeah.
I think he realized it's a lot more work.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, I just make it look easy. But so that was part of why we started it, was hoping that between the three of us we could make it take off.
Right.
And then I kind of started to, hoping they would follow, and Dow kind of did, but then when C kind of dropped off.
Yeah.
And then we started working on the house.
Yeah, everything takes over priority, right?
Stupid life.
I'm like, oh man, these guys are starting a stream team. It seemed like some kind of gaming stream team. Like, I can't wait for it to get off the ground. I'm gonna get in there with them.
Yep.
And then I'm like, oh, yeah.
Go ahead. I struggle with the business aspect of stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm a really good face. And people enjoy watching me stream.
Yeah.
And but without someone behind me, it couldn't get off the ground.
Yeah.
So once I get back into streaming, I'm gonna try to rebuild it. Or build it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. I was like a 2-year-old. I could only get 2 blocks. So I hadn't quite.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But when I do, I occasionally, I did just start signing back into the email, and I've got to rework the Twitter.
Yeah.
When I start getting to sit down at my computer to do things, it's hard to do that all from your phone.
Yeah, it's so much more productive when you're sitting at your computer, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you get things back up and going, let me know so I can come in and join you guys.
I will definitely.
And where can we catch you, Brie, on all the socials?
You guys can find me on Twitter at QueenBrie Carvala, or you can find me on Twitch at QueenBrie with 2 E's. And just a heads up for you guys, I will be out next week. I will be on vacation, but I will return the following week.
Yeah, next week we'll have Lady Vamps on the show. She's an Australian streamer. She's a friend of the beer teams, and so we'll be heavy on anime talk and video games. So it should be a good show.
Awesome.
And you can catch me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all at DreadnoughtX. And and if you have a question for either of these ladies, or a comment, you can send it into thedreadcast at hotmail.com. And and send us a message, send us a like, go to the webpage, go to our Twitter. You can go to our Twitter at thedreadcast, and give us a like and a follow, and get the podcast on all your favorite podcast apps, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play. Yeah, we're there, and we'll see you next week. And I want to thank you guys very much for joining us. Val, thank you very much too. It was so nice catching up with you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, have yourself a good night, everyone.
Night.